grab some garlic, a steak, some silver bullets, and a proton pack. Because today we've got 25 crazy, cool, epic, awesome, funny, weird, wild, unexpected, true facts about mythical creatures. Number 25. Let's start with some of the most well-known mythical creatures out there. Up first, trolls. These creatures come from Nordic or Scandinavian legends. A troll's appearance varies greatly depending on the story. In some versions, they're ugly and slow-witted, and in others, they look and behave exactly like humans. Over time, trolls also became associated with different stone formations because people believed that they were trolls turned to stone after being exposed to sunlight. Some people think these legends may be so widespread because early humans interacted with Neanderthals who looked and acted like trolls, ogres, and similar legends. But most experts didn't take that theory seriously until recently when scientific evidence proved that Neanderthals did in fact overlap with early humans. Number 24. Our next mythical creature, the Headless Horseman, also known as a Dullahan. This decapitated danger is a fierce and powerful creature found in Irish and German folklore. The Irish version is the Dullahan, a headless rider on a black horse who carries his own head under one arm and uses a human spine as a whip. What? The German version is found in the German legends of the Brothers Grimm. In this book, a woman is gathering acorns in a forest when she hears a hunting horn. When she hears it again, she turns around and sees a headless man in a long gray coat sitting on a gray horse. Whew, man, kids used to get some seriously creepy bedtime stories. Number 23, the Bijou. This mythical hybrid creature comes from Chinese lore. The Bijou is often described as having a Chinese lion's body with wings, the legs of another legendary creature called a qilin, and the head of a Chinese dragon. Unlike most mythical creatures, the Bijou was usually helpful. According to legend, it protects those who practice feng shui, and another version of the Bijou with two horns attracts and protects wealth. Because of this, many Chinese families have little Bijou statues in their homes, hoping it will help prevent wealth from flowing away. Which is cool and all, but maybe just close the window. Number 22, the Wendigo. According to the Algonquin Native Americans, the Wendigo is an evil creature that was kind of like an early version of a zombie. According to legend, only people who consumed human flesh were at risk of becoming Wendigos. Of course, nowadays we know that Wendigos don't exist and were likely a myth invented by a clever Algonquin tribesman who was trying to keep people from becoming cannibals. Cause apparently that's something that takes convincing. Number 21, the Menahoon. According to folktales, the Menahoon were dwarves who lived in the Hawaiian forest before the Polynesians settled there. Some folklore enthusiasts even think they built some of the ancient statues on the Hawaiian Islands that predate the Polynesians. And while no actual evidence of the Menahoon have ever been found in Hawaii, one thing's for sure, someone lived on the island well before the Polynesians. But who? Number 20. Time to dive into the briny deep with the Kraken. Arr. Tales of the Kraken come from Nordic mythology. Originally, this beast was just limited to the coasts of Norway and Iceland. But as time passed, its notoriety grew, which caused later generations to believe it also lived in oceans all across the planet. Norwegian fishermen described the sea creature as a monster the size of an island. The danger wasn't supposed to be from direct attack though. Damage was caused by giant waves and tsunamis as a result of the Kraken's movements. Quickly, that morphed into stories about the creature's terrible attacks that could destroy entire warships. But modern scholars believe the legend of the Kraken was a result of fanciful fishermen stories about the giant squid that got really out of hand. Number 19, Mermaids. Their lore dates back over 3,000 years to a Syrian goddess who dove into a lake to become a fish, but only her bottom half was transformed. Whoops. According to legend, mermaids traditionally have four main powers: immortality, seeing the future, telepathy, and hypnosis. Oh, and also, a kiss from a mermaid is supposed to give you gills. Historically, manatees were often mistaken for mermaids by sailors out at sea. Even Christopher Columbus himself reported seeing, quote, ugly and fat mermaids while venturing into the New World. Ugly and fat? Oh, I think manatees are adorable. Just look at that face. Number 18, the Kappa. In ancient Japan, the Kappa is a water demon that devours naughty children. Yikes! Kappa were said to have the body of a turtle, legs of a frog, and a beak. But unlike most mythical creatures on our list, many people still actually believe that the Kappa are real. In fact, some lakes in Japan have signs warning visitors to watch out for them. So make sure you do your chores next time you go to the lake, or you might get eaten by a Kappa. Number 17, the Ichthya Centaur. The last of our water creatures is basically the aquatic version of a Greek centaur. They look like a centaur with the head and body of a human and the legs of a horse, but they also have the tail of a fish or dolphin. Oh man, talk about a seahorse. Which leads us to number 16, his more famous ancient Greek counterpart, the centaur. Many people think that centaur mythology was a direct reaction to the first Greek interactions with horse-riding nomadic tribes. Riders would appear as half-man, half-animal to the Greeks since they were so advanced and always on horseback. Number 15, Medusa. In Greek mythology, Medusa was a beautiful maiden who was transformed into an ugly, evil monster with snakes for hair. Medusa was supposedly so ugly that anyone who looked at her turned to stone. Wait, I wonder if a troll once looked at Medusa and, hey, wait, that would explain everything. Number 14, the Hydra. No, I'm not talking about a secret criminal organization in the Marvel Universe. I'm talking about a mythical water monster with snake-like heads that could regenerate. When someone chopped off one head, two emerged. And the Hydra had poisonous breath and blood so toxic that even its scent was deadly. Number 13, Cerberus, or the Hound of Hades. He's a vicious, three-headed dog who guards the gates of the underworld in ancient Greek mythology. According to legend, Cerberus ensured the arrival of the dead to the underworld and prevented the living from entering Hades. And in a bizarre twist of mythological fate, the Cerberus was the brother of the Hydra. Man, that's one evil family portrait. Number 12, the Minotaur. It was said to have the body of a muscular man and the head of a bull, and lived at the center of the Cretan labyrinth. Whoever got lost in the maze became the Minotaur's lunch. The only exception was in the story of Theseus and the Minotaur, where the king Theseus went into the labyrinth and killed the Minotaur. Number 11, the Cyclops. This hulking giant is most famous for its large single eye in the middle of its forehead. Some people think that ancient Greeks may have mistaken prehistoric dwarf elephant skulls with Cyclops skulls. The elephant skulls are about twice the size of a human skull and have been found by the Greeks on Cyprus, Crete, Malta, and Sicily. The large trunk hole might have been interpreted as one large eye socket. Given that local Greeks had likely never even heard of an elephant, they wouldn't have known the difference. Number 10, Satyrs. Described by ancient writers as mischievous and good for nothing, satyrs had a reputation for being tricky and vulgar. Satyrs were a part of Greek and Roman mythology and were known for playing the flute. Satyrs were half-man, half-goat creatures that had pointed ears or horns on their heads and lived in the woodlands and forests. Number 9, the infamous winged horse of Greek myth, the Pegasus. According to the legend, a mythological horse master named Bellerophon tamed Pegasus with a golden bridle. Ooh, fancy. Pegasus and Bellerophon went on to defeat a fire-breathing monster called a chimera. In the story, after their victory, Bellerophon tried to fly to heaven to join the gods, but was thrown off by Pegasus. No! The two were separated, and Pegasus lived on forever as a constellation of stars. Number 8. Our first mythological bird, the Harpy. In Greek mythology, harpies are winged monsters with the face of an ugly old woman and the body of a bird with claws. In the legend, Zeus gets mad at a king named Phineas. He blinds him and puts him on an island that has only two things. 1, a delicious buffet of food, and 2, a flock of harpies that eat that food before the king can even have a bite. Number 7. We can't talk about mythical birds without mentioning the Gryphon. It's a legendary creature with the body, tail, and back legs of a lion, the head and wings of an eagle, and an eagle's talons as its front feet. Since the lion was considered the king of the beasts, and the eagle the king of the birds, the Gryphon was considered extra powerful and was thought to be the king of all creatures. Traditionally, Gryphons were known to guard priceless treasures. Some folklore experts think that the Gryphon myth was the result of ancient people finding fossilized remains of the dinosaur Protoceratops that were found in present-day Kazakhstan. Number 6. The Phoenix! This ageless mythical bird, also known as the Arabian bird, looks like an eagle but with brilliant red and gold feathers. They were said to live for hundreds of years in the Arabian desert, at which point they'd burn themselves on a funeral pyre ignited by the sun and raise from the ashes anew, ready to start the cycle again! Ah! Number 5. The Broxson. According to Jewish folktales, the Broxson is an aggressive, ferocious bird that is said to drink the milk of goats and sometimes human blood during the night. The Broxson legend became famous in Northern Europe during the Middle Ages, where people seemed to believe that it took the appearance of a witch in its female form or of a demon in its male form and attacked women and children. Number 4. Okay guys, we put it off long enough. It's time to get paranormal. Our first ghoulish myth is the Ghoul. It's maybe the most well-known mythic creature in Arabian folklore and was first mentioned in the famed collection of stories, 1001 Nights. According to the stories, a ghoul is a desert-dwelling, shape-shifting demon that can assume the form of an animal, usually a hyena. It can also take on the form of a ghostly spirit and spends its time in graveyards eating the flesh of the dead. Number 3. The Banshee. In Irish legend, the Banshee is seen as an omen of death who starts wailing or keening whenever someone important is about to die. The Banshee is described in Gaelic folktales as wearing green or red with long disheveled hair. She can appear in a variety of forms, but is usually an ugly, frightful hag. Number 2 might be the cutest critter on our list, the Kodama. According to Japanese legends, a Kodama is a peaceful spirit that lives inside of trees. It's described as a small, white, peaceful, and kind of adorable ghost that lives in perfect harmony with Mother Nature. But just because they're peaceful doesn't mean they can't also be dangerous. In legends, when someone tries to kill a Kodama or cut down a tree a Kodama lives in, they'll be cursed for life. And finally, our number 1 mythical creature, Krampus, the Christmas demon! In Alpine folklore, Krampus is a horned, human-like demon who punishes kids who misbehave during the holidays. Basically, he's the nightmare version of Santa Claus. Literally though. Santa might not want you to know this, but in the lore, Krampus is kind of his sidekick. See, Santa and Krampus have a little bit of a good cop, bad cop vibe, deciding whether kids have been naughty or nice. On December 5th, known as Krampusnacht, our Christmas demon spends the night visiting kids' houses. Creepy. If a kid is nice, they'll get a gift from Santa Claus. But if they're naughty, well, Krampus will either leave them bundles of sticks or toss them in a sack and throw them in a stream. Wait, what? So let's all be thankful that Krampus is only a legend and Santa's the real one. Oh, Santy, I love you. And there they are, 25 legendary facts about the origins of mythical creatures. Remember to subscribe to DreamWorks TV. I'm your host, and I've got a Minotaur, a Hydra, a Satyr, a Gryphon, and a whole army of goblins, so I'm ready to fight it out in a game of Magic the Gathering. Bye, guys.